NBS Live at 9.
It's good to know that some very responsible citizens have gone to the polls to determine who their local government leaders are going to be. That is one of the top stories when we come back right after the headlines.
Low voter turnout in local council elections sparks concern.
Fortunately, this time around, we are making a record of the lowest.
Lukwago wants to know why voters stayed home.
I have witnessed all my life, ever since I started participating in electoral processes.
Could it be voter fatigue or disillusionment? Biometric voter verification kits perform smoothly in most polling stations as they spark hope for future polls.
All our machines, BVK machines, are working so well.
Are BVVKs the answer to election concerns?
For the sake of Uganda, for the sake of national integrity.
MP Mwanga Chivumbi arrested as police probe links to Tambala deadly violence.
And that is the suspicion around the Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi.
New Chief Justice Flavian Zija's appointment sparks hope for judicial reforms in Uganda.
I, Dr. Flavian Zija,
will be judged based on his capacity sail through these murky waters.
Will he tackle corruption and case backlog? And the good news is, Uganda's coffee on track to meeting European Union deforestation regulation.
This is NBS Live at 9 with Victoria Sibia, Samson Kasumba and Kanari Mugume.
The Kampala Lord Mayor, Erias Lukwago, has expressed concern over the low voter turnout at polling stations during the elections of local councils. His concern does come after several polling assistants sat for long hours at polling stations with limited voters coming to cast their ballot. The election process has been described as calm with limited destructive scenarios.
This is Streams of Life Church in Lunguja in Rubaga Division with 7 polling stations. Here, the voting process opened at 8 a.m. and the electoral officials were yet to receive any registered voters. All electoral material, security and polling officials were set. Of the 7, only 1 polling station had voters ready to witness the opening of electoral materials, leaving the other 6 struggling to find witnesses to start voting. What was evident is that even after starting the polling, voters moving to cast their ballot were few. For those voting, the verification of being a voter was done manually on the voters' register as no biometric voter verification machines were seen, especially in Rubaga Division. Some of the voters we spoke to explained the swiftness of the electoral process and what explains the low voter turnout.
Abamondo bakyalimu tukita kiugwe ekyokulonda kuli okwaliwo tulonze bulungi tewadde buuma tuvola abampale n'amazzi
abantu baffe mulundi guli bakubwa abamu bakyali makomera
eno ababaka baffe tubadde tubawagidde gamazima bo tubalonze.
In Wakaliga, still in Rubaga Division, the voting process was also slow with polling assistants sitting for long hours waiting for voters to honor their constitutional duty. At 11 a.m., the Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago, seeking the same position, arrived at Bulwa Zone alongside his family and cast his vote. Shortly after the voting, the Lord Mayor expressed concern over the poor turnout, explaining that this could be the worst attended local government election in history. He attributed this to recently concluded presidential and parliamentary elections.
Very low turnout, extremely low voter turnout, which of course you can attribute to voter apathy, public despondence, and frustration. Many people are disillusioned with the electoral process. We are making a record of the lowest voter turnout I have witnessed all my life.
The Lord Mayor, however, expressed fear over what he termed as irregularities in the elections, pointing out goons that he says attacked his agents, denying them their right to vote and oversee the electoral process. Lukwago expressed concern about individuals that he says want to subvert the will of the people.
That the sovereign authority to determine who governs this country, how they should be governed. And to facilitate a transition in this country does not reside within the people right now. And of course, with the violence that has graced or marred the elections recently.
His main challenger, Ronald Balimwezo, who rejected the notion that the position of the Lord Mayor is a mere ceremonial position, believes this is a big position which influences policies.
So we are quite a number of Métis people, but it's only the vote that is supposed to separate us. And we have one winner.
It is political analysts attributing the widespread low voter turnout in the elections to voter fatigue and growing disillusionment, noting that many citizens have lost morale. And this is after repeatedly electing leaders they believe are later disenfranchised. Veteran politician Waswa Zitwaura warns that without deliberate efforts to motivate participation, the country does risk electing incompetent leaders, resulting in poor governance and wastage of taxpayers' money.
From last week's presidential elections, over 10 of the 21 million registered voters did not turn up to cast their votes for the president and parliamentary representatives. Fast forward to today's local government council and city mayor elections, and the situation appears worse. Across the country, polling stations reported voter numbers far lower than even those recorded during the presidential polls. This low turnout has sparked concern among election observers and analysts, particularly after some polling stations struggled to secure the legally required 10 witnesses to open ballot boxes, delaying the exercise by several hours in many areas. The former Kampala mayor from 1987 to 1988, Waswa Zitwaura, says the declining participation is largely due to citizens perceiving little benefit from previous elections, both for national leaders and members of parliament, as well as a widespread disappointment with the election results.
From the just concluded presidential and parliamentary elections, people may feel frustrated, especially those whose candidates did not go through.
Wakiso District Chairperson Bwani Kalwanga attributes the low turnout to the government's failure to harmonize election timelines for district chairpersons and mayors, a situation he says has intensified voter fatigue.
Government offered a public holiday of 2 days for the elections of president and member of parliament. And you wonder in the entire country why there shouldn't be a public holiday, at least for that only 1 day of electing the local government leaders. Now it gives a clear manifestation to the public that maybe local governments are not as important.
Zitwaura adds that growing voter apathy is dangerous as it creates an opening for unqualified leaders to take office, resulting in mismanagement of public resources and wastage of taxpayers' money.
You are losing resources. You put a lot of money, you invested a lot in the elections, and then people don't come to participate. It's like preparing a very big meal, nice meal, and people don't turn up to take the meal and you have to throw away.
To address the issue, Chira Municipality MP-elect and lawyer George Musisi suggests review of the law to schedule local and lower-level elections before the presidential polls, allowing smaller elections to build momentum ahead of the nationwide vote.
Future, maybe we need to amend the law to ensure that the presidential poll is the one which closes off the electoral season, because it's been seen over time that every time after the presidential election, there's a much lower voter turnout at the subsequent elections. Now, this is even the second set in the cycle of 4.
The recurrent pattern of low voter participation highlights a disconnect between citizens and their leaders. Analysts argue that without deliberate efforts to rebuild trust and demonstrate the tangible impact of voting, voter apathy will persist, undermining democratic accountability and good governance across the country.
The voters and their leaders in Nebi district have applauded the Electoral Commission for the successful use of the biometric voter verification kits, which were used to conduct the LC5 elections across the 362 polling stations in Nebi district. The outgoing LC5 chairperson, Emmanuel Urombi, led the applause, claiming that the BVVK machines have made the exercise efficient and less prone to vote fraud.
During the presidential and parliamentary polls, the biometric voter verification kits failed the innermost areas, sparking concerns about the electoral process's credibility. This forced the Electoral Commission to switch to manual voter registration in some areas, thus causing delays and raising suspicions. But the use of the biometric voter verification kits during the local council elections has turned out to be a resounding success in Nebi district, as the outgoing LC5 chairperson observed.
But I want to appreciate that today again, all our machines, BVK machines, are working so well. I've moved to about 14 polling stations. We have registered a 0 case of a challenge with the machine.
The voters and their leaders alike say the BVVK machines have enabled efficiency and raised any doubts of vote fraud, which sometimes is a recipe for electoral violence.
The environment hasn't failed and it is working so well. Like for my case, it detected all my particulars, right up from the serial number, my thumbprint. It's a fine thing, and I have confidence in it.
Generally, the election is going on peacefully, because we have not detected or received any information of violence.
The Electoral Commission officials admit the BVVK machines significantly speed up the voting process compared to the manual voter registration. In previous elections, manual checks were time-consuming, often leading to long queues and delays.
You have to put your finger on it. If it fails, we capture your photo. So this machine has helped us a lot. They have liked the use of the machine because most of them are saying that when they use the machine, there's no cheating.
Nebi district has a total of 128,959 registered voters with 308 polling stations, while Nebi municipality has 23,080 registered voters with 54 polling stations in the 3 divisions of Abindu, Thatha and Central.
All voted using the machine, which means the efficiency is okay.
The biometric voter verification kits, despite glitches, were meant to streamline voting.
Still on the BVVKs, voting for local Council 5 chairpersons and councillors did commence smoothly and efficiently in Katakwi district, with electoral officials reporting effective use of the biometric voter verification kits despite low voter turnout in many polling stations. The Katakwi district returning officer Stephen Mkuya says the Electoral Commission successfully dispatched voting materials early enough, enabling polling to start on time across the district. Mkuya did confirm that all voters who turned up there were successfully verified using biometric voter verification kits, describing the exercise as transparent and efficient. He added that the process was further observed by the deputy chairperson of the Electoral Commission, who toured between 20 to 25 polling stations in Katakwi Town Council, Guya, Ngariam and Katakwi Sub-County. Katakwi District has 255 polling stations with a total of 102,648 registered voters then.
We're loving the job. We are enjoying it because it was even faster and able to verify the voters. So I can say we shall have a credible election because all have been verified through the machine, and it has been a success where we are passed. The turn-up is really very low in the places we've gone to. I think out of those 25, we only found about 5 which had a high turn-up. That was in Akum Primary School, then also in the center here, Katanga SDA, the 3 polling stations which are there, and township, the Katakwi township. The turn-up was quite okay, but in most of the places it was low. Sometimes people have a big hype when it comes to presidential and parliamentary, and when that is done, some even leave the villages to go back to Kampala, because some come to vote in their villages.
I feel there is a lot that should be done in terms of
civic education for people to understand their right to vote. Because many times people think voting doesn't matter. Even if they don't go and vote, governance will always be there. But somebody has said if you choose not to vote, then a wrong person will get for you a wrong leader. So I want to encourage the community that whenever we have an opportunity to exercise our right, let's participate, especially in voting our leaders.
Now let's have a bird's eye view of the entire process with voting across several districts facing setbacks today, with low voter turnout reported in Rwengo, Shema and Mbarara, despite improved use of the biometric verification kits in some areas. Polling delays were recorded due to limited voter participation, while in Butevo, elections were cancelled after authorities discovered an insufficient number of ballot papers.
Voting for the district chairperson and directly elected councillors in Rwengo district was marked by low voter turnout, with the exercise progressing slowly throughout the day. Despite the poor turnout, the Electoral Commission ensured that all 378 polling stations were fully equipped with functional biometric voter verification kits, a marked improvement from previous elections.
This time around, everything is very safe. The way this machine has been operating has also been very good, because since morning we haven't experienced any challenges.
3 candidates remained in the district chairperson race after one independent candidate withdrew. Although they acknowledge the low voter turnout across the 7 sub-counties, the candidates expressed optimism about the outcome.
Sirina kubuusabuusa nti akawungeezi ka leero buna agenda okuziba nga Lubega bazoonoona ye muwanguzi wa Rwengo district.
Low voter turnout at most polling stations in Shema district and Mbarara city has been attributed to the limited importance voters attach to local council elections.
You can see in the background we have all the agents and the polling officials.
While biometric voter verification machines were used in Shema, the devices were not functional in neighboring districts such as Mbarara and Bushenyi.
Some people's fingerprints were not matching. So what we have done for them, we would maybe use facial recognition.
The poor turnout also delayed polling in several areas as officials struggled to secure the required 10 witnesses before opening ballot boxes. Authorities in Butevo district have cancelled elections for the district chairperson and councillors after discovering that the number of ballot papers was insufficient for registered voters.
Independent Electoral Commission, and a decision was arrived at to hold elections of LOC5 specifically in the Butevo district.
NRM National Treasurer Barbara Nekesa Oundo confirmed the cancellation and urged the Electoral Commission to quickly set a new date and resolve all related issues.
But we shall also need to appeal to the Independent Electoral Commission to quickly organize an election so that the people of Butevo can elect a leader and the district takes off.
Democratic Party flag bearer for the Kampala Lord Mayoral seat, Beatrice Mao, has expressed concern over the low voter turnout in the city, attributing this to widespread voter apathy. She says the apathy is driven by public dissatisfaction with the recent presidential election results, as she continues her bid to become Kampala's next Lord Mayor.
The only female among 8 candidates and Democratic Party flag bearer for the Kampala Lord Mayor race, Beatrice Mao, cast her vote at Naja 1 polling station as she seeks to become the city's next Lord Mayor. She was accompanied by her husband, Minister Norbert Mao, and was welcomed by chanting supporters. Speaking to the media after voting, Mao expressed concern over the low voter turnout in Kampala, attributing it to the growing voter apathy following the recent presidential election results.
I think they got discouraged by the last voting of the presidential elections when they turned up in masses and the technology wasn't working. So I think they just didn't bother to come.
She described the campaign period as exhausting, saying it had taken a heavy physical and emotional toll on her.
I feel a bit exhausted, but also not excited, because first of all, I've been moving around polling stations, and the turn-up is really bad.
Despite the challenges, Mao said she remains confident of victory, noting that Kampala residents understand and support her vision and leadership. The Democratic Party has historically enjoyed strong support in the city, having previously produced Lord Mayors such as Sebana Chizito and Elias Lukwago, now of the People's Front for Freedom.
DP was in Kampala. We were better off. When I reclaim this seat back, we will get back to order.
By press time, it was unclear whether the party would reclaim the highly contested Lord Mayoral seat.
For more of an update on tallying of results of local council elections, we join my colleague Ramson Muhere, who is at the Kampala Tally Center, to tell us how far that count has gone and if there are any major updates. And it is Ramson, the nation is watching. You are at the Tally Center. Are we looking at any result anytime soon? And is there any chance of an earth-shaking upset?
Samson, an earth-shaking update will certainly be coming, but for now, we are camped at the Tally Center for Kampala District at Mubza in Nakawa. This is where Electoral Commission has set up, and this is where declaration of all results from Kampala will be taking place for the Lord Mayor and the councillors that are being voted to represent respective parishes to the KCCA authority at City Hall. Of course, we did speak to the returning officer in the Kampala, Jennifer Chobutunji, and she confirms tallying will be starting to take place anytime from now. Of course, ballot and electoral materials continue to come in this place, but of course there is no specific tallying that has started, irrespective of which position of the three positions that the voters did cast their vote on. We are still waiting. This tent just behind me is where the declaration will be taking place. Of course, there are different tents that have been set up here for different divisions, and that's where officials, when they come, that's where they sit probably to tally and get information that will be finally passed on to the returning officer and to declare who is winning where, of course, across Kampala. I am here joined by, of course, one Honorable Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, newly elected Member of Parliament, a husband, one of the candidates, Beatrice Mao, who has been contesting on the position of the Lord Mayor for Kampala. He is among the first people to arrive, of course, in this particular place from different camps of candidates. Honorable, you are live on NBS TV. How did you find the day?
I arrived from Gulu at about midday. And what I saw in Gulu is basically what I saw in Kampala. For over 1 hour, even the 10 people who should be around before the voting starts were not there. In some places, I'm told, even after 3 hours, there were no enough people to start the voting process. This is not surprising because many people may have been discouraged because of the failure of the machines. That's a highly regrettable failure on our part. The president was the chief promoter of those BVVK machines. All of us assured the people that the credibility of the elections would be enhanced because the results would be reflected both in the record of the machines, and those records should match the number of ballot papers in the ballot box. So now, with the failure of the machines, verifying is going to be a bit difficult. That may have discouraged people. Secondly, today was not a public holiday. Unlike the last election for president and members of parliament, when a public holiday was declared, today, many people had to go to work. And generally, there are those who may have expected different results in the previous elections for president and parliament, and now they feel a bit discouraged. We, however, also blame it on the lack of civic education. We need to always educate our people that The people who don't vote are the ones who elect bad leaders for us. The low voter turn-up is a problem that has been reported across the country.
Honorable, you have come in here. We expect tallying to be taking place anytime from now. The ballots are continue coming in. Your expectations, and probably, do you think we are getting late into tallying? Are we still in time? Do you think by morning time we should have a winner? Because last time there was incidents of at Kololo where tallying, delayed, and there was anxiety among the candidates.
We right now have to sift through truthful reports and even rumors. There are those spreading rumors of abuses of the law. So I'm expecting that the results will be declared before morning. There's no reason why they should not be declared. If we start tallying by, let's say by 10, then the hours between 10 and morning hours should be enough. Kampala is accessible. All the places are accessible. As I noticed, most of the polling stations are actually near the roads, and they have enough vehicles. I've seen enough vehicles moving around. We need to really deal with the anxiety, both of the candidates and of the voters, by declaring results quickly. The good thing is that having a tally center like this gives a sense of transparency. And if the candidates themselves have got their DR forms, and if they had agents at polling station, then they will be in a position to openly challenge results that they disagree with. That is the purpose of the presence of candidates' agents at these tally centers. When the returning officer reads a tally sheet which does not reflect the truth, then the candidates' agents have a duty to object. And sometimes those objections are what cause delays. But I'm optimistic that by morning we should have winners.
Thank you. Of course, just like the Honorable Minister here expects that by morning we should have winners. Earlier on, of course, the returning officer, Jennifer Chobutunji, did confirm that surely by morning they expect to have concluded with the declarations of all positions, and people should be already knowing who has won which position across Kampala. Samson, I get back to you at the Political Command Center.
Thank you very much. Don't be surprised if you're trending this morning for very obvious reasons. And now let's speak to Dr. Agnes Atim Aper, the Amolat woman member of Parliament, who is for us live this evening. Doc, what in your opinion explains low voter turnout?
Thank you so much. I think the low voter turnout, it's really the voter education and awareness of voters and the significance of the local government kind of elections. There's a way that everyone thinks that a member of parliament and president elections maybe take precedence and all that. But people forget that actually the real service delivery happens at the local government level. So I think that shows in future that we need to concentrate a bit more on voter education so that our people are cognizant that this is actually where election matters the most in terms of service delivery.
I've thought that the candidates, while on the campaign trail, will educate their voters on the importance of turning out. That's number one. Number two, if you're really popular, why aren't people turning out to vote for you?
Samson, election is not about popularity. There are so many factors that are involved in motivating the voters to go and vote. And so, I think that is what really takes us back to why do people vote anyway? Do they even understand why they are voting for an LC5 chairperson or a councillor or a member of parliament or a president, something like that? So I think it's not so much about popularity, but it depends on so many factors. Remember, These are the same voters who went through election last week. Some of them were disappointed that their candidates did not win. So that alone demotivates them that after all, why would I go and vote? So given that my candidate has already lost. And then the other issue is also that even those who may be interested in a particular candidate are not just interested, they're just reluctant. And remember, it's a right of a voter to decide whether they want to vote or not. So I think there's a lot more that needs to be done in our political dispensation if elections really have to make sense in the lives of voters and translate into service delivery and governance of our country.
Doc, Councillor George Musi, Mayor-elect Chiram Municipality, has floated an idea. I like your take on it. I grew up in a family where you eat the meat last, so that inspires you to eat all the food, looking forward to eating the meat, or the beef if you may. Perhaps, maybe if we place the local council elections first, the interest would be generated for the presidential elections. Now, they come last after people are like, what the heck?
Yeah, that could be one of the suggestions to make. If we are really to address the voter turnout, low turnout, I think a very comprehensive study needs to be undertaken to see what drives, what motivates these voters and what is it that demotivates them, and why are they interested in other elections and the others they are not. And so, yeah, proposals are such that maybe we start with a lower level and it builds up to the presidency. That could be one of the ways of maybe trying to turn around the whole election processes. But the way it is designed at the moment, and my experience really on ground is that whenever elections are done at the top, then most of the local governments are greatly affected. And yet, in my opinion, actually the local government elections are more critical than the policy and all this that we do. Not to say that the presidential and parliamentary elections are not important, but I think we need to pick more interest in the local government elections, because those are the guys that are in charge of.
Doc, thank you so much for your interview. It's lovely to see that your cat has also shown up for a live television interview. I wish I could ask you what's the name of that cat. I mean, it looks beautiful. It also came for the interview, live TV interview. Oh, that cat did come for the interview as well. I wonder what the name of that cat is. But we're going for a very brief break, and when we come back, no, even before we come back, I'm going to tell you what is coming back right after the break.
More to come. Brought to you by...
Everyone knows we use Global Paint Undercoat. Now, for the best results, I continue with Global Paint's products.
Global Paint, a reliable...
Well, if there's ever been a swift, appointment and swearing in, well, this one could have broken some records there. Members of Parliament urge Zasia to fix judiciary challenges. That story comes back right after this break.
New Tusker Premium Cider. Crisp, delicious apples crushed and blended to create a unique taste explosion.
In the heart of Uganda lies a place where dreams become a reality. Welcome to Zion Estates, your gateway to prime land with titles across Uganda, with estates in Mukono, Bombo, Kaga, Matuga, and many more other estates. With over 15 years of experience, you're guaranteed the best, and you can start paying in installments. All our estates are well planned. Start your journey to land ownership today. Zion Estates. It's your home, your prestige.
I want to be an engineer.
I want
want to be a chef. I want to be a mechanic. I want to be a musician. I want to be a basketballer.
Twinbrook International School is a school where you will see people from around the world. It's diverse. You will have the opportunity to experience things you've never experienced before. We have highly skilled teachers and a comfortable environment that does not pressure but eases the minds of students to help them into their future careers. Our school integrates art, culture, history, language, and performing arts such as drama, music, and dance into the academic curriculum. Work smart, succeed. Twinbrook International School.
Buy genuine Decra roofing tiles, the original stone-coated alu zinc steel roofing system from New Zealand. Choose from Heritage, Milano, Shingo, Shake, and Classic profiles with a variety of colors and a 50-year warranty. Only available at Depot Uganda. Telephone 0776 898 888 or 0758 853 285. Depot Uganda. Tried, tested, and trusted.
teach law at Uganda Christian University, at Makerere University, and also at Makerere University Business School, and that is MOB. So he's been a lecturer before, and he was appointed as a High Court judge in 2016 and served as a resident judge of the Mbara High Court Circuit. He was appointed principal judge in December 2019 until his recent appointment as Deputy Chief Justice in February 2025. Now, Zija's appointment as Chief Justice is expected to bring stability to Uganda's judiciary. Moving on, police have confirmed the arrest of the National Unity Platform Deputy President for Buganda Region and Member of Parliament for Butambala. Ahmad Mwanga Kivumbi. Police spokesperson Rusoke Kituma says Kivumbi is being held in connection with the recent violence in Butambala that left several people dead.
Of Uganda, for the sake of national unity.
MP Muhammad Mwanga Kivumbi's arrest follows remarks by President Yoweri Museveni during his victory